that seems to unite the panel of candidates this evening is, dare I say, a lack of experience working in local authorities. Given that apparent lack of experience, how do you propose to work with the local authorities in Portsmouth, Mary, Rushen and Port Said once you're elected to the Keys? Thank you.
Do you want to expand a little bit more on what you mean by work with, or do you just want me to guess? Or
do the candidates know what local authorities do?
Right, yeah. Okay. It's funny actually, I said to Lawrence here, when I was putting my poster up on the junction there the other day, I was accosted by this, he might be here somewhere actually, this man who wanted to ask me a few questions. It turned out to be Lawrence's campaign manager. And one of the, he said he was offering me a second vote. One of the questions that he got well beyond was local authority reform and what I thought needed to be done. I think there are some good examples of improving efficiency, so I think a lot of people are aware of the fact that the structure of local government hasn't changed in a long, long time. And there are, Port Aaron puts an area with the shared bin wagon, there are great opportunities to improve efficiency as technology allows that. Fundamentally, I think in terms of boots on the ground, there are a certain number of jobs in all the constituencies which just need a certain number of people to do them, but there might be ways of improving the efficiencies of how those operations are actually run. But again, I come back to my thing, it comes back to what you want to pay for, because it is quite easy to just see, oh, well, this is just too expensive and this is costing me on my rates. But there is an element of local authority, what local authorities do, which is a critical part of your community. And there's some parallel here with the post office, in one of the conversations I've had with Tina in the post office in Portsmouth, Mary, is the fact that the post office, it's not just a business, it's part of the community. If you use that post office, it's not just, they're just doing business with you, it is part of your community. There's a cost associated with that. If you're prepared to pay that cost, that's fine. It's not just, we're just doing business, which is the way it's been pushed. Ever since we've started just slashing, burning, charging things, that's the way these things are being pushed. But nobody's asked you, this is part of your community, so your local authority is part of your community. What do you actually want? Maybe you're happy that it's run slightly inefficiently if you get something that you value a bit more than just, let's just do it at the lowest possible cost. When the local authority elections happened, I was quite vocal in saying that there should be more ways for more people to get involved, because I think that technology now provides us with so many more ways that people can get involved and have their opinions heard on these things, because a lot of people don't know. And I think that's probably the thrust of what you're saying, is a lot of people don't know what their local authority does for them. They know that we're being emptied, they know somebody comes around and empties the dog bins, they know that the street lights come on, but there is actually a list on one of the websites. There's a list of what each local authority, and I suspect that a lot of people don't know that. And that list makes up your community. And if there are things on there that are costing you a little bit more, but you're happy with that, and fundamentally you know which bit of your money is going to pay for it, you don't mind. It's the bits that you don't know about that you feel that money is being wasted. So I think a lot more information about what is actually going on, and a better relationship with government, because this is the other thing, is when you ask a question and there is a difficulty between the relationship between local government and central government, that there is a potential for a breakdown there, which I know is another one of the issues that was raised with me a long time ago. When you report an issue, is that issue a national road or a local one? And then there can be a difficulty in the communication between the people who are responsible. So there is much to be improved in the relationship, central government to local government, because you are the people who are closer to these people. So there needs to be a lot more linking up.
Okay, very good question actually. Probably designed to trip us up, is it? No, it's a good one. Okay, now I confess I haven't got local authority experience, but what I do have is a strong skill set from my time as an accountant and company director, and from my time in education, so I've worked within government. So I've got an idea about how things work from a governmental point of view. I've got friends within certain authorities, local authorities, and what I'll say about that is, no, that doesn't mean I know everything that's going on. It certainly doesn't. From one of my friends who's just over there, Hugo, trying to hide at the back. But these people are key. Every member of the local authority is key, and what we need to do is we need to ensure that there is strong communication between local authorities and government candidates, whether we are departmental ministers or whether we are just representing RUSHEN. You're the community and you're represented by your local authorities, but you're also represented by us, so it's key that we do work together very, very strongly. Now, one of the things I always prided myself on was when I ran my own company and I would take over as director or CEO of another company, I would get my hands dirty. One of the companies I actually got involved in was a cleaning company, which meant I actually had to put my hands down toilets. Now, I did that so I could understand what was going on in that company, so I could see where the efficiencies were. I can understand what the concerns of the staff were and the clients. And I adopt the same principle with you. Even if I literally have to put my hands down toilets, I will do it. Thank you.
I think starting off with, got some obviously bad news when we're looking at local authorities. I mean, we're obviously paying quite a lot on our rates. I certainly know that, and that's going to increase because of some taxes that have come in, and those and the cost of, particularly with recycling and waste management. We don't have sort of joined up policies, so we can tackle some of these things. If we look at, I'm quite. I suppose I'm a lot in touch with the Port Ellen commissioners, and I know that they do a very good job. And I know this isn't sort of, it's accepted that there is going to be a move, obviously, sensible sort of streamlining of services with the ambulance, and more sort of falling under one, at least because obviously it's easier to run and there's sort of savings there. However, it's a question of what they do provide us with. And of course, we have, you know, in the bay, you have lifeguards you can swim to and then swim off. So there's lots of little things in the flowers and the walks and whether things are able to go along these paths. So it's, and I know there's also a lot of feeling about the rate or the potential rate reform that is ahead of us, and people feel that that's not particularly fair. So one of the first things that sort of often goes into my mind, if I was elected, I was looking at it. There's obviously we've got a dilapidation housing problem, which might come up in another question, but that's obviously going to be one of the sort of things that has to be an empty house, but there has to be a lot of work done with commissioners. And I suppose as potential candidates for that, we have to work very closely with them. I mean, visiting at least once a week, if not more, because they do, I suppose, the real work on the ground. So we have to be involved in that sort of process. And then we have to work with them to solve some of the many issues that are related to that. Thank you.
Bringing back uncomfortable memories for me, Chris, because I spent 4 years of my life as a local authority auditor. And I think I can safely say I know where the nuts and bolts are of at least 20 of the 24 local authorities that are on the island. But in fact, I think there was an issue there about people understanding the difference. A lot of the issues that people have been raising me on the doorstep, and I've done about 2,750 something doors now. 150 to go, so if I've missed you, I'll get there. But things such as bins, such as the state of the parks and things like that, they are local authority issues. And they're things that very much sort of impact people's local life. It's the things that they see that are the most visible. I would like to see a commitment to greater recycling. Again, brought back a memory that when I started off doing that, firstly we went around and counted actually how many bin wagons there were around the Isle of Man. At that time, there were 49 bin wagons, and a back of fag packet calculation from us at KPMG reckoned the whole Isle of Man could be served by about 8. So there wasn't much shared services in those days. I think it's getting better and there's more to do. But doing that without losing your sense of identity. I think we could live with fewer commissioners, but I'm sure the good ones will get back in. But we could do with fewer often, because they do slow down, the sheer size of the boards do slow down decision making. Over my last 10 years as an MHK, I think I've been very accessible to the commissioners, all four, as we have Arbury, Rushen, Port Ellen and Port St Mary, and have worked with them on issues, both local and national, where they've had an interest as well as us, and I would continue that to see if I was re-elected.
That's a good question. I would suggest that this is a very important relationship that MHKs must have with local authorities, because it's just it just makes so much sense. And I'd like to think that I do have a good relationship personally with the commissioners, very much on an individual basis, I will say. But what we've got here, as June said, the old Russian had 27 commissioners. And the big difference is there, we are national politicians, obviously professional politicians being paid. The commissioners are real, true volunteers within their community. They've stepped up, they want to serve their community, and I think we need to ensure that we have a positive and proactive relationship, and that's something I would always want to condone. What I have supported in terms of, one or two talked about reform there, is the decentralisation of services, and that has progressively happened of recent. We've had, I think, a false start with regards to local government reform. We had two different ministers have a go at it, and we really didn't get to it. In the last couple of years, we've seen more decentralisation of services. And what's that all about? And that's just about trying to give local services in the control of local authorities, and therefore a benefit to you, the local people in that community. So I do really value that relationship, and I think it's a very important relationship, and I'd like to see that continue going forward. Thank you.